Hello everyone, and welcome to part 2 of my video on the Cuckoo line. And we're starting off just a little bit further up than we did where we left off in the last video. And what better place to start than this magnificent 3-arch bridge. Look at that. You can get up on the top, which we'll do in a minute, like the last one. That way is looking back towards Helen Lyon, where we just left in the last video, and that way there is looking towards Horam, which will be our next stop. So we're about halfway between Horam and Horam at this point, and we'll just go up on the top and have a look, shall we? So here we are on the top of this magnificent 3-arch bridge. Obviously it was an occupation bridge used for farmers to get across from their land on one side to the other, as was the last bridge as well. And a little bit overgrown, but hey ho. And in this video we'll be taking in Horam, Mayfield Tunnel and Mayfield Station as well. So, without further ado, we will move on to Horam. I'm on my bike for this bit of the video, so there'll be a few stops on the way to see a few little other gems. So, let's go. Well, this is the first for me as well, because I've been over this 100 times but never been under it. This is a Cattle Creek bridge, again in really good shape. Just about get a tractor through here nowadays. In the old days it was easy. New tractors struggle. Some concrete fence in there. Have a stand back shot before we go. On the top, which is quite interesting, they've made some railings and they've put all like bicycles and trains in them. I'll try and get a shot of it when I get back up on the top for you. And there you go, Cattle Creek Bridge. Okay, back on the top now, and you can see the decorative railings they've made to finish it off. Very nice. This bit is quite interesting because it's amazing how the concrete posts have survived all these years, and the fence is still, and even this, which once would have been a crossing point, I would imagine, still in really good shape. And then over this side, you see even there's ballast and bits of evidence. Oh, here on the other side looks like what's left of maybe some sort of workman's hut, or there's all sorts of bits of brickwork and tiles. That looks like a chimney maybe staying on its side. Hard to tell really. Smaller at the top, maybe it is a chimney. Again, the other side is the other, where there would have been another gate to get through. And that concrete is in really good shape. There you go. Anyway, onwards. So now we're just coming up to outside of Horam. You can see a bridge there just appearing in the distance. That's Hall Beach Lane Bridge, and again another 3-arch bridge, but that has a road across the top of it. That one, it's not a farm one, it's a road bridge. And as you come into Horam, there's quite a deep cutting before it opens out into the Horam station area, which sadly some of it's been built on now. A lot of it has, but some of it's still there. As you can see, we're coming up to the bridge. Do you like their 3-arch bridges around here? This guy with the sun on it. The smoke marks. The roof of it there. Not very good against the sun, but let's go down a little bit. Everything's really green at this time of year. Should have done this in the winter really, would have seen a bit more, but didn't get the chance. As you can see, we're now heading towards Horam, which is about a quarter of a mile there, and it gets into quite a deep cutting as you get closer. This all used to flood here. They dug it out a bit. It used to really be, before it was the Cuckoo walk, it was really muddy here. This all used to fill up with water here, and we used to come down here and frog spawning and catching stuff, as you do when you're kids. I grew up in Horam, so all this area was my playground really, so I know it quite well. Anyway, put it on closer when we get there. As you can see, we're in a bit of a cutting here. As you go along, it gets higher up. I think the bit between Helen and Horam is my favourite bit because it's so rural and there's hardly any houses. There's a lot of wildlife, flowers, trees, and very quiet when you're cycling along there, and you don't get any interference of cars and whatever else. Quite nice. We were always down there when we were kids on their bikes and so on. Anyway, we'll stop now and we'll pick it up again when we arrive at Horam. So we've arrived in Horam, and there is still some of it left. Not a lot, but some. The road bridge there with the new, I say that, 40 years ago probably, pedestrian bridge. I remember when that was lifted into place. It drew quite a crowd, if I remember. That's the bridge, the road bridge. And then if you look over here, you've got some of the old platform left, and some of the platform this side left. So they are repairing it, so it's probably in a bit Trigger's broom. And you've got, say, that sign and the electric light concrete post left, and again here, and the original concrete sign with a new bit in the middle obviously, and then on this side where the platform, of course, it's a big sheltered housing, and you can see a bit of the platform there looking up towards Mayfield that way, and looking down back towards Horam that way, and so it's been quite built on, and it looks like they're doing some sort of building work. I think they're putting some sort of cafe in or something along that lines. What I'll do with this again, like I did in the last one, I'll drop a few pictures in the corner of how it used to be to give you an idea. So I grew up here, and I remember when we first moved here, the station was still here, not disused. It was all derelict, and the station was about there, and they pulled it down not long after. But the actual platforms were there for quite a time. We used to play on there on our bikes and jump off and all this sort of things you do. And the coal yard was still operative, and that was over the far end where the sort of car park is now. And we used to have to wait for the school bus just over there, on the in road to the station, which is all changed now. There's no point looking at. Nothing's the same now. So I think it was obviously Horam was twin track in the station, and then I think if you wanted to get from one side to the other, you went over the bridge and back down. There was no footbridge to get across in the station. You had to go over the road bridge and back down. I think you came down somewhere here, and there's another road that sort of goes around the back of here. And there was a waiting room about there opposite the station, but you'll see that in the pictures when I drop them in the bottom there. But yes, that's Horam, and we shall now leave Horam, and next stop will be Mayfield. Just before we leave Horam, and hopefully you can hear me above the noise, the wind and the traffic. But that's just a shot here from the top of the footbridge. You can see the platforms either side, and where the railway would have come along and gone pretty much straight through that big building there. And it's changed a lot, but it's still recognisable. Even since when I was a kid, it's changed a lot. All of Horam has really, but as of anywhere, I suppose. But yeah, there you go, overall shot of Horam. And another thing, just before we leave Horam, and the site of where they're putting the cafe in, there's another lamppost, concrete lamppost. That one looks a bit more complete than the others. There you go, worth a quick look. So we've made it to Mayfield, here we are, and there's the station building, and it's in really good condition, this one. It's second only to Helen Lloyd. Sorry about the wind noise. Second only to Helen Lloyd, because Helen Lloyd's got more platforms, etc. and so on, but that's in good shape. Now the station was on road level, and the actual platforms were down there, where all those cars are, and then the station sort of went over there and round towards Horam, and then you had like a gantry wooden stairway to get down to the platform level, which is obviously not there now. So there's another, and on the other side of the road is the entrance to Mayfield Tunnel, which we'll look at in a minute. But have another look at the station, and we'll go from the other side so you can see it properly. Here's another view from the other side of the road. Away there, but you can see just how good a condition it is. And after it was a shop for some time, and then I don't know what it is now. Maybe a cafe or something. Coffee house, according to the sign there. But yeah, it's in really good shape, and see if we can have a look at the entrance to the tunnel. So here's the entrance to Mayfield Tunnel. I have been through there several times. It used to be open, it's been shut for a while now. Soon, I think there was some trouble in there and they decided to keep it shut. But I don't know if we can have a look in. I don't think you can see much. We can also go to the other end of it, which we will do in a minute. If you can have a look through this one, getting there. How's that? There you go. It's all been tarmacked out. It was a cycle path for a bit. And there's another look at the station. And just about here, once there was a water tower, but that's been long knocked down and gone. But you can also see the road over the bridge, and there's now obviously a skate park for the kids to play on, and that's all been boarded off the bridge as well. But yeah, so station, road over bridge, tunnel, pretty good. We'll go around the other side and look at the other end where it comes out. So we've crossed over the high street, and this is the other end. This is the northern portal of the Mayfield tunnel. I'll put down below how long it is because I'm not sure offhand. You can't see through it because it's on a curve. But this end is a little bit more to see than the other end. Lots of junk everywhere, as you expect. There you go. I'm not going to go right up close because it's muddy and horrible. I haven't got shoes on for that today, even though it's May. Sides there. Like I say, I have been through it a few times when it was open. I believe it's being opened in the summer for part of a gala of some sort. I think it's to do with the Spire Valley Railway. It's being opened for a little bit, guided tours for it. I don't think it's ever going to be open again properly, unfortunately, due to some behaviour inside. Yeah, very sad really, but there it is. So there's the northern portal of Mayfield Tunnel. Right, on to the next one. Just going to walk up here for a bit because I believe there's a decent bridge to look at up here, if I remember rightly, but I can't remember for the life of me how far it is. But we're on the old line. You can see by the gravel and the stones and stuff. We're on a slight embankment, not much, 10-12 feet maybe. But yeah, so we'll follow along here and see where it goes. And here we are, the bridge. Look at the size of that. I've only ever seen this once, and I thought it was further away than this, so that's good. Another 3-arch bridge. Wonder if we can get on top of it. Got to be able to get on top of it. I don't think it's a road. I think it's just a occupation bridge. Wow, look at that. Well, that was worth coming over here for. Right, let's see if we can get on the top. We've kind of set a standard now. Well, there you go. That was a clamber and a half getting up there. Blimey, that was really steep. Anyway, here we are. This is the top of it. Interesting to see that it's made of rail the barrier. I think that's original. Well, I've never been on here either, so that's another first today. Yeah, look out over the side. See how high up we are. There you go. That's quite high. If anyone wants to look at this, it's about half a mile north of Mayfield station, give or take. Doesn't seem to go anywhere. Probably once upon a time it did. Interesting rail there. So there you go. The top of another bridge. Okay. I suppose our next stop, it's got to head towards Mayfield now. So I'll see you there. So I decided to push on north a bit more just in case there was something else. And I think we're in kind of private land now, I'm not sure. There was a sort of barrier. So, but I have found another cattle bridge, I suppose you could call it, like the other one in Helen Lie. Obviously the railway goes over the top. It's a bit overgrown, so we can get through and have a look. Of course it will. You stand on the top of it, it looks quite dropped this side because it's so huge. Big old walls. That's quite steep this side. What size is that? Blimey. Big old buttresses as well holding it up. There you go. Another find. I'll say I've not really been up this way too much between Mayfield and Mayfield, so it's all a bit new. So, well, might go a bit more north, might go back, we'll see. Quick view from the top, and that's a long way down. It really is. A bit scary, sad, isn't it? Right. The other side, not such a drop. This side, quite a drop. Anyway, I'm not going to go too close to the edge. That way is towards Mayfield. Might go a little bit more, see what else there is, but probably nothing. And we'll turn back and go towards Mayfield in the car. So, here's one last treat before we get to Mayfield Station. Knoll Viaduct. Never been here before, always wanted to come here. Never had a chance, because I never knew where it was. Now I found it. If I can get the camera out there, because it's all private around here. This is fantastic. A lot higher than the last bridge we went to. Bit of work going down there. Still on the line, I suppose. Don't know if there's a way down. Get out. Looks to be 3 or 4 pillars by looking over the side. A bit hard to see really. Again, chose the wrong time of year for looking at things, I suppose, because it's all grown up, but I wonder if we could get anywhere down there. Obviously some of it's private property around there, it's always a bit awkward. Look at that, it's enormous. I'm going to stop it here and see if I can get down and have a look, and then I'll start it up again if I can. If not, we'll be at Mayfield station next. Okay, after nearly breaking my ankle, we're down. I didn't expect that. Look at the size of that thing. Right, that's unbelievable. I've only ever seen a few pictures of this, never been this close before ever. Must be 100 foot high, I don't know, 75 foot high. So there you go, an old viaduct in all its splendour. Okay, right, next stop is Mayfield station, and that's the final stop on this video, so let's go. So I'm going to film this one from the car because it's a private residence and I don't really want to be walking around outside someone else's house, a bit awkward. That is Mayfield station. Zoom in a little bit. There you go. It's had a bit of adjustment, I should say, on the end. It's been modified and remodelled on the end booking hall bit, and but it has recently been restored to quite nice condition by the looks of it. It was quite run down for a while, and obviously when they built the Mayfield bypass they also chopped off the other side away, so where the other platform would be is all gone, and when you look from the other side of the road it looks like it sits up on a sort of plateau because they put the Mayfield bypass in, which carried along some of the track bed up around the outside of Mayfield, and of course they sort of chopped it in and then left the house up on like a hill, which so half the side of the platform and all that has all been swept away. But saying that, it's still there, it's still in good shape, and it's good to see it. So and then the rest of the goods yard and stuff has all been turned over to houses now, so there's not a lot to see there apart from new houses which no one wants to see. Anyway, I'm going to stop it there. That's the end of this video. Thank you ever so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, I do appreciate it, and look forward to the third instalment, which will set off from the other side of Mayfield, taking in out Argos Hill Tunnel and Rodfield and Mark Cross, and so on and so forth, Erridge, and then say we'll go up to Tunbridge Wells West. So we're going to leave it here. Thank you so much, and see you on the next one.